Good afternoon and welcome to the final podcast for Far North Coast Rugby, brought to you by Coopers and Mawson, Mara Global Foods and Ray White Casino and Kyogle. So I've got Graham Cook with me again as always, and let's get down to it, eh?
We've got a fair few exciting matches to talk about, actually, with the junior grand finals last Friday, the 1st of September, and then the senior grand finals on Saturday, the 2nd, out at Wollongbar. So shall we start at the younger age group in the juniors?
Yeah, well, we couldn't get a ground, and Vic and Mick Carey agreed to host the 12s and 13s. Yes, we were just left without a ground. So, and thanks.
Perhaps, the first thing to acknowledge Wollongbar Rugby Club for hosting that 12s and 13s grand finals out at Wollongbar on the Friday night prior to their senior grand final they were already organised for. The zone certainly appreciates it, and I'm sure the players appreciate it because it's a very enjoyable ground and facilities. Now, how did the games go?
Well, I was there. I had to go down and do the bit of ground managing there for that one. And
was you the competition manager?
Oh well, I was there. I had the trophies, and Dave Graham. I got Dave, the board member for juniors, to take all the trophies and that down to Lismore, where the 14s, 15s, 16s were being played.
Yep.
So, we had Casuarina Beach and Lennox Head in both games there at Wollongbar, 12s and 13s.
So two pretty even clubs during the year. And how did that under 12s go? How did it go up to half time?
Well, it was virtually locked away at half time. Casuarina Beach were up 19-7 at half time.
Wow.
I thought it was going to be a much closer game.
Yes, you were saying that.
But no, it bloke out. There was Casuarina Beach with a much better side in the end.
Okay, so Casuarina turned up on the night, played very well, led, was it 19-7 at half time?
Yeah, and ran out 26-7 winners.
Okay, so all the damage was done in that first half.
Yeah, certainly was.
They started well, got some points early, did they?
Yeah, no, it was, they got away. No.
Managed to, 19-7 at half time with all the work to do for Lennox Head, unfortunately for them, and well done Casuarina. And then Casuarina ran out 26-7 winners.
Yeah, no, it was they're very, very well duelled side, Casuarina Beach. It was really, really good.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Casuarina Beach, on winning the under-12 grand final last Friday night and being the premiers in under-12s.
Yeah, then we had the 13s kick off, and that was a much tighter game.
Okay, that's what everybody wants to see except the teams involved.
It was 3-0 at half-time to Casuarina Beach, kicked the penalty goal.
Okay, so very, very close game.
Yeah.
Was that indicative of the way the first half had been played?
Yeah. Lennox had a few chances, ball, a few drop balls, short passes, and just running onto it too hard and turn them over.
Out. Yep. I mean, we talked about that last week, and that the teams that can actually execute on the night makes a big difference. At this stage, it was 3-0 at half-time to Casuarina Beach in the under-13s. How did we end up in full-time?
Yeah, the next score was another penalty goal. I think it went to 6-0.
Right.
And then they both scored. No, Casuarina only scored the one try. Lennox had Harry Runyard, their fullback. He scored both their tries, but were unable to convert any. They were out wide. Okay. One wasn't too far out, but unfortunately, and the final score was 13 points to 10. So it was a close game.
So it did end up in a close game. We're certainly very tight at halftime with 3-0, but then unfortunately for Lennox Head, they were unable to convert those tries. Casuarina Beach were able to score a try and convert it and run out winners to 13-10. Did you feel overall on the night they were possibly the better team?
Yeah, no, I thought they were quite both even, really.
Yeah, okay.
Just
those little moments?
Yeah, Lennox Head started slow and just hesitant in the backs.
I think that might be something we'll be mentioning quite a few times tonight.
Yes.
So congratulations, Casuarina Beach. You've won the under-13s and the under-12s last Friday night in the juniors. That's a very, very, very good performance. Commiserations to Lennox Head. You did have several other teams performing on the grand finals, juniors and in seniors, so more opportunities there. So congratulations, Casuarina in 12s and 13s. Last Friday night at Wollongbar, they are the premiers in 12s and 13s. Let's move on. The other venue was at Lismore.
Yeah, Lismore Rugby Park.
Lismore Rugby Park. Yes, I was down there for most of the night. It was very enjoyable, actually. Great atmosphere, very good crowd, and some fantastic rugby played.
Yeah, well, I have to thank Bevan Gay for taking it on. That was originally down to be played at Casino.
Okay, so another ground.
Yeah, no, they jumped in late and were happy to do it. So
there was as you'd hope, there were drinks and hot food available. There was ground managers. There was first aid attendants. There was everything you're looking for hosting a big match, particularly things like a grand final in the juniors. There was a very good crowd there. Quite a few people from all the clubs involved were turning up to watch and cheer on their teams, and started with a cracking game in the under-14s.
Yeah, well, it's 14 all at half time.
Yep.
So
Wollongbar Austinville v Lennox Head.
Yeah.
Under-14s was very entertaining rugby. Both teams were throwing it around, going up and down the field, but not quite able to execute and get that final try. So at half-time, we're looking at a pretty even game, 14 all. And then in the second half,
yes, it's blown out a bit there. 45 points to Wollongbar and Lennox had 21.
Yeah.
So
the Wollongbar,
you were there, weren't you?
Yeah,
so.
Wollongbar started to just get that final pass away, catch the ball, and run and try after try at one stage, and then they'd be counter-attacked, and Lennox Head would go in and score a try. But on the night, they were too good. They thoroughly deserved their win. It was a fantastic game of rugby, unfortunately marred by an incident right at the very, very end of the game. But if you put that aside, the game was played very well by both teams on the night. Wollongbar were just too good and deserved premiers in the under-14s. Congratulations, Wollongbar Austinville Rugby Club. And then from there, we moved on to the under-15s, which was anticipated to be another very even contest.
Yes, I thought it was going to be a very close one, this one as well.
Under-15s with Byron Show Rebels and Lismore.
Yeah, and it was even further apart than what I thought. I thought it'd be closer than 10 points.
Yeah, okay. So half-time, they look, both teams had opportunities. Byron Show Rebels had managed to take some and get some points.
Yeah, well, I talked to Dave Graham this morning because I was trying to find out what the halftime score was without having to go and watch it. So I have got all them now. Thanks, Mark, for getting the cameramen to go out and do those for us. And they've all been sent out to all the clubs that participated in all of them.
So under-15s Byron Show Rebels versus Lismore was a very close game. Byron had got their heads in front at halftime. In the second half,
stayed that same way.
They cancelled each other out.
Yeah.
So
and a bit of an incident in that one as well.
Unfortunately, there was. Yes.
That was dealt with last night as well. Yeah.
Was a theme on the night. Unfortunately, there were incidents. But look, on the night, Byron Show Rebels deserved to win that match. They managed to execute at some key moments, get some points, get their nose in front, and then they hung on. Well, didn't just hang on. They counter-attacked. Lennox counter-attacked. It's just Wollongbar were just too good. So congratulations to
Byron
Show Rebels, rather. The Byron Show Rebels were just too good on the night. Deserved winners in the under-15s. Commiserations to Lennox Head.
No, Lismore.
Lismore. That was Lismore.
That's
yes,
Lismore.
It was
yeah,
right.
no, I thought Damien Keys' side would get a few points on the paddock.
They were quite bullish before the game. They well, as the points, the score showed, that was a very even contest.
Yeah.
Just unable to get over the line on the night. So congratulations to Byron Show Rebels.
Yeah.
And the under-16s, the big game in juniors, if you like, that was between Lennox Head and Yamba. Both teams had got wins during the year.
Yes, they both had wins.
And just as way it goes sometimes.
I think that was Yamba's only lost to one game to Lennox during the year.
Okay, and that had a draw down at Yamba just prior to the finals?
No, that was a younger age group.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, very, very even teams, two very good coaches.
Yeah, Paul Reinberger down there.
Yep.
Paulie has been around a long time.
So look, where everybody was actually anticipating this to be the match of the night, which was saying something given the quality of the rugby that had been played in the 14 and the 15s. So how did we go up to half-time in that match in the under-16s?
Yeah, Lennox were up 12-5. So
Lennox Head beating Yamba 12-5 at half-time in the under-16 grand final. And all to play for. I mean, there was anybody's game. 12-5, obviously the score indicates that, but certainly the way the game was being played indicated that any team that could take some opportunities was going to win this, and it was a nail-biter right to the death.
Yeah, well, it ended up 19-17 in favour of Lennox Head, and I believe there was a penalty shot right on the death for Yamba, which was waved away. So if they'd have kicked that, would have been 2019. But that's if, but maybe.
But maybes. Yeah, we talk about those sort of things in rugby. So look, on the night, yeah, look, that could have gone even anyway. Would a draw have been a good outcome for both teams? Arguably, but Lennox Head, they got the points. They got the 19 points. Yamba only managed to get 17. Lennox Head, deserved winners. They got the points. They won the grand final. Lennox Head, the under-16 grand final premiers. Congratulations. Yamba, commiserations. You've got a very good team there, which hopefully quite a few number of those players will be around next year to play in a Colts age group.
Yeah.
But look, fantastic game of rugby. Very well played by both teams, well coached by both teams. You could see that the skill set of both groups of players was very good. So congratulations, Lennox Head. You'd had some losses earlier in the night in the younger age groups, but you came over the top of that one. Well, you led and you hung on and you deserved the win. Congratulations, Lennox Head Rugby Club, under-16 premiers. So that's the wrap for the...
Yeah, that's the juniors, all done and dusted.
So that's last Friday night.
Oh, well, we can let you know the two competitions that don't have finals, but we have a first past the post competition, the under-10s. That was won by Ballina. So well done to John McMahon. He's coaching that side and doing he's a junior coordinator down there for this year, and he said it's probably going to be his last year as well. He said to me, how do you do the whole lot of them? I've got one club and it's driving me mad. So, well, you
are mad, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know, I am. So, yeah. And then in the under-11s, it was Lismore. Lismore held on to top.
Fantastic to see two clubs that have struggled at times, but also been very dominant at times in junior age group, particularly Ballina. They've struggled for the last couple of years to win that under-10s premiers. Congratulations to them, and also Lismore in the under-11s. So we'll move on to the seniors, which of course were last Saturday at Lowell Park and Wollongbar. Possibly the last games to be played at that ground, with Wollongbar potentially moving to the new fields, new facilities. And what a day. Fantastic crowds, great atmosphere, some very good rugby played in every grade. It was everything you could ask for in a senior grand final. This is what we all live for. It was just a fantastic day, frankly.
Yeah, and started off with a cracker again with the Colts. Lennox Head and Casuarina returning after their major semi-final.
Fortunately, this time it wasn't the blowout that major semi was. We had Lennox Head, the minor premiers, had been very dominant in the major semi. Casuarina had gone through to the final, the elimination final, and won that to be in the grand final. So Lennox Head beat Casuarina in the grand final of Colts under-18s. Unfortunately for Casuarina, unfortunately for Lennox Head were able to score fairly early. They put together a few phases, scored a try, came back, did it again, and impartial people on the sidelines went, yeah, this Lennox Head team is really good. They are going to take some beating. They were playing like a team that are deserved minor premiers. And how did we go at half-time there?
Well, Casuarina came back at them in the end of that second half, and it was only 1 point, 15-14 to Lennox Head. So I thought, this is going to be a bit interesting. And
if ever you were looking for a team that were looking for a half-time break, that was Lennox Head at that stage.
Yeah.
Enough. They go, oh, okay. The coaches' talk did work, though.
Yeah. So
they ran out 28-14 winners. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that was correct. So
they managed to put together those phases again, do some really good tries, and deservedly won the Colts under-18s grand final.
Now, Lenny scored 5 tries, couldn't convert one of them. So a lot of them were out wide, but and then Kane Crichton kicked a penalty goal. So no, Corey McGuinness scored the penalty goal. So
congratulations to Lennox Head, the dominant club, dominant team in the under-18s Colts competition. Deserved premiers and minor premiers. Casuarina Beach would have to be incredibly proud of their efforts. Their players put in a fantastic game, just weren't quite as good as Lennox Head on the day, but deserved to be in that grand final and certainly did their club proud. So congratulations to both teams, particularly Lennox Head, premiers, Colts under-18s. And then next up, we had what was predicted to be a pretty close game.
And it was,
President's Cup.
President's Cup. There was only 3 points in it last time they met, these two, Richmond Range and Yamba.
I think they've had several games now where the combined difference in the scores is like 10 points. It's crazy. They have been so even, those two clubs. So the President's Cup, you may recall, was between Yamba and Richmond Range. Richmond Range being the second grade premiers from the 2022 season. Yamba being one of the teams to beat all year in this. All the clubs in President's Cup were talking about how good Yamba were. So this was potentially going to be a fantastic game of rugby, and certainly lived up to that.
Yeah, I thought it was very entertaining. And it was tough. And I thought Yamba were in early with the kick across and bounced up. And yes, we won't say anything else. But
Yamba had an opportunity fairly early in the game. If the ball goes to hand, they score the try, get their heads in front, and potentially the whole game is quite different. As it turned out, they didn't manage to take that. They knock it on. Range were able to relieve that pressure, and then Range just defended. They defended their hearts out. They didn't get a lot of territory and a lot of ball for quite some time, but they were a brick wall. They simply would not let Yamba in. Yamba, on the other hand, unfortunately for them, didn't quite execute as well as they have during the season. They made mistakes. They knocked on. They got offside. They just didn't quite get into the flow that we're used to seeing Yamba.
Yes, well, we had someone in the bin early.
I can't remember how that happened.
Yeah, that's right. You refereed that game. Yes, drop the shoulder, Cody.
Look, it was one of those things. I'm sure the spur of the moment thing. Unfortunately, he didn't use his arms in the tackle. And when the player laughs at you and smiles as he's walking off the field, you go, "Yeah, I think I've got that one right." It was just in some ways indicative of unfortunate for Yamba. They weren't able to execute on the day, and on the other hand, Range defended with just everything they had only a couple of opportunities, but managed to take them. So at halftime we were
7-0 Range up over Yamba. Yeah,
had an opportunity, got a try, converted it 7-0, and obviously 7-0. It's still anybody's game. Funnily enough, in the second half, Yamba basically had one stage where they actually had multi-phases in Rangers 22, and guess what they did? Scored a try. It was like, oh my gosh, if you guys could just keep doing this, you're going to win this. So they scored, didn't manage to convert.
No conversion.
So yeah, okay, we had 7-5 or 10-5 at that stage. It was still anybody's game. Then we went down into Yamba's half. Yamba unfortunately weren't able to again execute, get themselves in a good position to score some points. And Richmond Range managed to hang on and run out winners.
10-5, yeah.
Incredibly close game, as everybody was expecting. Fantastic game of rugby, as Wayne's mentioned. There was some free-flowing, fantastic rugby played there. Congratulations to Richmond Range. They did all the hard work and came away the winners. Commiserations to Yamba, just on the day perhaps didn't execute to the level of skill they have in the past during the season. But hopefully there'll be some players that will be hanging around, will learn from that experience in 2024. But again, Richmond Range on the day, winners, grand final, premiers in the President's Cup competition, 10-5. Congratulations. Then it was all over, wasn't it? Just pretty easy games of rugby from there on in.
Yeah, so you think.
So as you may recall, in second grade, which was up next, we had Casuarina Beach had won the major semi in a very close tussle. Byron Bay had won the elimination final to get themselves into the grand final. A lot of people were suggesting that if Casuarina Beach can hold the Byron Shire Rebels out for 10, 15, 20 minutes, get a little bit of frustration going, they'll then perhaps be able to get down to the other end, put some phases together, get penalties, get some points one way or another. Unfortunately for Casuarina Beach, it was actually almost the opposite.
A lot of penalties early.
Yeah. Byron Shire Rebels got down into Casuarina Beach's territory, got a penalty, took the points. Did it again, took some points. It was exactly what Casuarina Beach didn't want, but I would suggest exactly to the script of what Byron Shire Rebels wanted. Allowed them to calm their nerves a little, start getting into their patterns, play some territory, get the opportunities, take some points. So at halftime, how'd we go?
Byron 17, Casuarina 10.
Okay, so it's still anybody's game, which is indicative of how close those two teams have been this year. At halftime, at least, you go, yep, Byron deserved to be in the lead. But Casuarina didn't give up. They came back and got points.
You know, they had 2 tries, no conversions.
Yeah. So, again, that conversions thing. If you can kick your conversions, it makes quite a bit of difference. But 17-10 was probably a pretty fair reflection of how the game had been played. And then the second half, okay, can we take opportunities? One player for Byron Shire Rebels that stood out in the second half, and the first half too, Campbell Harvey. I think he ran in 3 tries.
He did. He scored all their tries.
Yeah, which he doesn't do them from 5 metres out either. He tends to run them from quite some distance. An exceptional talent, a great player.
Went looking for the ball.
He did. He'd commented before the game he needed to get his hands on the ball a bit more. He got the ball and just did what he can do, and a few other players in the zone can do that. So scored some tries, got Byron Stroh Rebels in front. I think they had 29, 30 points at one stage.
Yeah.
Yep, and Casarina were having to play catch up.
Yeah, well, all of his tries were converted.
Yeah,
And by Troy Dowdy, and he kicked 3 penalty goals as well. So that got them up to their 30. Range came back. I mean, Casuarina Beach come back. They actually scored 4 tries, but only could manage 1 conversion in that.
Okay, so we ended up with a final score of 30-22.
Yeah, that's it was touch and go, but you know,
a very close game. But again, I'd suggest perhaps that score does indicate how the game went. Byron Stroh Rebels were just too good on the day. Casuarina Beach certainly did their team and their club proud. They played very well, but Byron Stroh Rebels were just too good. So Byron Stroh Rebels, the premiers in 2nd grade for the 2023. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's their first senior premiership as a new club, and they won the 15. So they had 1 junior and one senior one.
That is a fantastic effort for the first year in a joint club that's come about between Byron Bay Rugby Club and the Bangalore Rugby Club. And Byron Stroh Rebels had a premier in juniors and senior rugby. Congratulations. And then we moved on to women's rugby. Does that sound right?
Yeah, the 12s. Casuarina Beach, who are the minor premiers, taking on Lismore.
Okay. Now, people may recall Casuarina Beach the previous year had been very, very good, but Lismore in the grand final in 2022 were exceptional and had gone on to win that. It was a case of let's see whether Casuarina Beach can negate that performance of Lismore. Can Lismore front up like they had the previous year? So how did we go in that game?
Yeah, well, it was 12-5 at half-time.
Okay, 12-5 at half-time. But again, to an impartial viewer, you'd suggest Casuarina had been the better team in the first half. They deserved that lead.
Oh, was it 12-0? I can't remember.
No, either way, Casuarina had been the better team, and it was all there for Lismore. They needed to up the ante, perform a little bit better in the second half, otherwise Casuarina Beach were going to win this. And then the second half, again, just some fantastic rugby. Just
no scores.
Ball being thrown around. But the end result, 12-5. Casuarina Beach, premiers and minor premiers?
Yes.
In women's rugby. Congratulations, Casuarina Beach. You actually were the better team on the day, deserved that victory, and I'm sure you had a very enjoyable evening. The women were suggesting they were going to thoroughly enjoy this after the 2022. So Casuarina Beach premiers in women's rugby for 2023. Congratulations.
Yeah, and both 2 of their girls, one got the highest point scorer and one got the best and fairest.
Wow, congratulations. That's
Bonnie Robinson, I think, was the best and fairest, and Marley Johnson, their kicker, she was the highest point scorer. So congratulations to them.
Okay, then the big dance.
Yeah, first grade kicked off. We had I thought it was we had a welcome to country.
Yes.
And I thought it was
actually
very well done. Nothing over the top. Really good. Bit of a laugh with the young fella running on and saying, "Mummy, I want to go home." Yes, we're going short.
How long till we finish?
Yeah.
So that was look, but it was very well done. That perhaps almost put the icing on the cake. It was just add that human touch to something which is very important and very significant. But that sort of all of us were involved because of that incident.
Yeah, and then Brucey Rollo did the national anthem.
And did an exceptional job of that.
Oh yeah, well he gets there at the club and things like that. He does shows. He's getting on a bit now, but he still has a bit of a go. And I think every presentation night that I've been to afterwards, he gets up on stage and sings New York, New York, or something like that. He's a crooner. He was in a group of guys all round and toured around doing it. He's a very good entertainer, is Bruce Rollo. So
exceptional performances in the country and the Australian national anthem prior to the match, which set the tone of how important and how big this occasion was. And then the 2 teams got into it. The major semi, as people may recall, was described in a lot of ways as a brutal match. Just the physicality was quite exceptional. This wasn't as intense and as physical a game, but defense was incredibly important for both teams. There weren't going to be too many opportunities. Byron Stroh Rebels managed to get. They managed to make some smart decisions and get some penalties their way. Wallingbar infringed at times, made their own worst enemies. Wollongbar Rugby Club execution wasn't the best. Skill set, tactically, wasn't real flash. They were making it very hard for themselves. Byron Shire Rebels were just at 'em and at 'em and at 'em, and, well, give Wollongbar credit. They wouldn't let them cross the line.
Yeah, well, it was a penalty each early on, 3-all.
Yep.
Byron first, then Wollongbar. And, as you said, the line out, which is usually a really good thing for Wollongbar, just didn't work in the first half.
Yep. So
they couldn't get it to work. Even Mustard dropped a couple up there.
Where the Byron Shire Rebels had done their homework and knew where the ball was going to go, so they were able to attack that throw. But for whatever it was some overthrows. Just, again, those execution of the basic skills. Wollongbar's set piece, being things like the line out, weren't going as well. Their execution at the breakdown wasn't going as well. Their attack wasn't working as well. Tactical kicking wasn't great. Yeah, they were making it exceptionally hard for themselves. Byron Shire Rebels, on the other hand, were inside the half, if not the 22 of Wollongbar Rugby Club, but Wollongbar then just defended.
And they had 2-on-1 against Bodie Smith. And I thought, oh, well, they're going to score here, no worries. And don't know how he did it, but he intercepted it and he was gone.
One of those moments you know somebody's going to score, whether it's going to be Byron Bay or Byron Shire Rebels with the overlap, get the pass away, he runs in, no one's even going to get a hand on him. This occasion, Bodie Smith said, I'm going for the intercept, took it, ran 85, 90 metres. Basically linked the field try, got 5 points, unable to convert it, but Byron Shire Rebels had exerted all the pressure, and it was only 3-all. Then that try, and suddenly Wollongbar's actually in front, 8-3, and yet Byron's the one that had all the territory, all the possession. That must have been a huge lift for Wollongbar and allowed them to keep on going. But it wasn't finished before half-time, was it?
No. We had Lloyd Morgan in fringe, and he I don't know, I think he hit him late or high.
Mistaken identity?
Yeah, maybe. And he got a yellow card, so they were down.
Perhaps one of those examples of where you have got territory, got possession, you keep exerting the pressure, sooner or later the team will infringe enough, the referee's got no choice but to put somebody in the bin with a yellow card, and that certainly happened, and it was fairly close to the line, from what I recall.
Yeah, it was about 10 out or something like that. I thought they'd take the penalty.
Yeah, make it 8-6.
Well, it's finals football. As we said, we've been there before, Graham. We've had a nasty thing there, but yeah. So they didn't. They kicked for the corner. I think they buggered it up, a line out.
They had 2 line-outs in the corner, didn't manage to execute either of them. Or one line-out, but then subsequently turned it over anyway. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending how you look at it, Byron Shire Rebels then ended up with a scrum 5 metres out from Wollongbar's line.
About a minute from half-time.
A minute from half-time. Wollongbar had one of their starting forwards in the bin, so they had to do a bit of a reshuffle. And suddenly, yes, you've got one of the dominant or best scrums in first grade in Byron Shire Rebels up against a weakened first grade scrum in Wollongbar Austinville. And how did we go from there?
No, penalty try.
A penalty try. So Richard Goswell, congratulations, managed to get on the score sheet in the grand final.
Yeah.
But nobody from either club had any disputes.
No.
That was a penalty try.
Yep.
Another player in the bin. Byron Shire Rebels had finally got something for all the pressure that
that was the thing. I didn't even see the yellow card get given. Yep. He blew the game up half time after he walked bang, and I didn't see it. But they said he did give up the yellow card. Then there was confusion after half time.
Yes.
And
unfortunately, the only real the only real incident match officials wise of the whole day unfortunately happened in first grade after half time, where Wollongbar Austinville with 2 players in the bin, or 2 yellow cards, should only be playing with 13 players. They were playing with 14 players, and that was missed by the match officials at the start of the half. Was subsequently rectified, but one of those things that no one ever wants to see. Made it difficult, obviously, because Byron Shire Rebels playing against more players than they should have, but they still had territory, they had possession. So how did we go in the second half?
Yeah, it's.
I think the game changed a little.
Yeah, it did change. It all seemed to. They made a couple of changes, and Brendan Williams came on. Mustard went off, and the line out worked, and
Wollongbar's execution got better. Tactically, they were a lot better. They were getting the ball out of their territory, so they could then start exerting some pressure on Byron Shire Rebels, who basically had not had any pressure the whole first half. So Wollongbar was suddenly at times down in Byron Shire Rebels half, down in that 22. And when you've got a team as good as Wollongbar, we talked about it last week, they've got a good forward pack. If they can match up there, then they've got some backs that can do some skill. I mean,
Yeah, Bodie was the standout for the day. He got that one flick blast back inside the Matty Neen, and he dived over in the corner. So, he got that, and then they drew them all in and threw the long cutout ball out to James Vidler right near the end there, and they scored another try. So they end up scoring 3 tries, and Bodie kicked a conversion and a couple of penalty goals.
Yep.
Under pressure, that was pressure for all the goal kickers. Joel Little kicked a couple of penalty goals.
so an incredibly close game, was intense. Wollongbar, I think even Byron Shire Rebels supporters admitted on the day, they were the better team. They defended their hearts out. They then had only a few opportunities, but they executed and scored those tries. I mean, 3 tries in the grand final when you've been under intense pressure, and therefore a lot of energy-sapping work being done, and actually ended up thoroughly deserved winners of the first grade.
Yeah, 23-13 point.
23-13, there you go. Very, very impressive effort. One of those if-buts maybes perhaps for Byron Shire Rebels, but I think anybody who was at the ground or has watched the match would go, yes, Wollongbar Olsenville Rugby Club deserved premiers in the first grade competition yet again, but congratulations, you deserve it. You put in the hard work. You've won the first grade grand final. Wollongbar Olsenville Rugby Club premiers first grade 2023.
Yep, congratulations.
Very, very good. So that's the grand final wraps in juniors and seniors. We did mention last week there's something coming up this weekend.
Yes, we've got New South Wales Country Championships down in the Yamba Sports Complex for under 12s and under 13s, and I believe this could be the last time it's going to happen. They're going to do the 12s and 13s just with the state championships again from then on. So they'll all be played in June. So it'll alleviate the pressure that we've got to finish that little bit earlier. So we usually finish the following weekend coming. We're the second weekend in September. So we won't have to be forcing the games to start early or whatever. All depends what we do. You know, we've had talks with Rugby Gold Coast. The board and myself went up there a couple of weeks ago, and we had dinner up at Brunswick Pub, and a lot of ideas thrown around. Even if we just trial it with maybe just a Colts competition for next year. Don't know what's going to happen, but it's out there. So there's a lot of they've done a big job up there. They've got Kim Shuck that used to work for Suburban Rugby up there, the juniors in Brisbane. She knows a lot about doing draws, and she's got all AFL and NFL type stuff with conferences and all sorts of. They had 3 different scenarios there. So I think there'll be a meeting of clubs and whatever.
Yep. So some potential changes, or at least there'll be a thorough review of the competition on the Far North Coast in the 2024 season. But moving back to Yamba, they've got 12s and 13s country championship at Yamba this weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep. So
I'm going to go down on Sunday.
Okay. Good luck to all teams involved. Congratulations to Yamba for hosting that. I'm sure it'll be a fantastic event. I know Adrian and all his cohorts will be working very hard to make that a fantastic event for everybody that's involved. And good luck to all teams. Now, do you want to get round to the dreaded Team of the Year?
Oh, well, yeah. We might as well finish it off so we can have some more of this stuff.
Let's make sure we show everybody that we know absolutely nothing about it.
No, we know
That's
nothing.
the key to this. So, okay, obviously in a team where we mentioned where we've got players 1 to 23, being the starting 15 and then the reserves. We had a discussion as to whether we should be doing the South African thing of 7 forwards and 1 back in the reserves, but decided perhaps that wouldn't be such a great idea. Might be some very upset backs in this zone. So we haven't done that. We've then also got, of course, the coach, the team manager, and the physio of the year. So teams always start, and a lot of people would suggest the hard work. You can't win a game without them as the front row. We've had a lot of discussion about this in the way teams have performed in first grade, who's been dominant, who hasn't, what has happened, and why has that dominance perhaps not occurred. So what we've gone for is a loose head prop from Wollongbar of Lloyd Morgan. principally, or a big part of that came about a match that was down at Byron Bay earlier this season, or late in the competition season, between Byron Shire Rebels and Wallingborough Austinville. Byron had dominated the scrum, absolutely blitzed it, had got a penalty try. Wallingborough Austinville then changed around their forward pack, and Lloyd Morgan went into the front row, changed their second row, and suddenly, believe it or not, Wallingborough Austinville got a penalty try in the second half. So very impressive. You could see the difference he made to that front row of Wallingborough, the difference he made when the two teams had played in other games, including the major semi and the grand final. So Lloyd Morgan was our loose head prop. Congratulations. Hooker. Some very good players.
The old boy.
Some old guy. Who would that be?
Billy.
Billy from Wallingborough Austinville. Does the core duties wrong. Very, very well, rather. Not wrong. Just the line out, the scrum. But is also very good and mobile in attacking play and can do his work in defence. His link play at times for Wallingborough Austinville out wide, and their attack was quite exceptional this year. So got his nose in front from that point of view. So 2 Wallingborough front rowers picked in our starting front row, which may surprise some people. But number 3, tight head prop, Byron Shire Rebels, Robert Taylor.
The standout.
Yeah, like that was sorry for us, that was a very easy decision. Yeah. We felt he was the performing player in that position all year. Didn't take a step back almost all year. It was fantastic, both in the set piece, being the line out lifting, and in the scrum, but also in his defence and just mobility around the park. Is an exceptional player, and we're very lucky to have him. Now, mix things up a little bit in the second row. So what we're looking for there is often teams have different types of players. You've got one bigger, stronger player that may be hitting the rucks, and one player that can be a link player in the attack or can take the ball a little bit wider. So we've got 2 different types of players. So how do we go there, Wayne?
Yeah, Mitch Planton from Casuarina. Sometimes he plays number 8 and whatever, but he does stick his head in the second row. So he's a big unit and a good, tough, close to the line is very hard to stop scoring tries. So we went with him. And then you can say the next one.
I look, see Ballina a few times this year, watched them on the video a few times. Kai Cribb from Ballina. I think he's had an exceptional year.
Yeah.
In a better performing team, I think he would have still shone out. But in the way Ballina unfortunately didn't perform as well as they have in prior years this year, and he was one of their standout players all year. So yeah, Kai Cribb is our other second row. It gives that different type of player to Mitch. So yeah, that's our second row, Mitch and Kai. Loose forwards. This was a lot of discussion regarding the loose forward, and again trying to get that mix of players, the fetcher player, the defending player, the hard as nails player, the attacking link player. Yeah, we had a lot of discussion about how to get that mix right, and so we came up with 6, 7 and 8 of...
well, we picked Joshy Galbraith from Wallingborough at 6, Hamish Mould at 7 from Wallingborough, and from Ballina, Harry Bungate at the number 8.
So you've got some very experienced players there, particularly Harry. He's been around for a lot of years, is a very influential player, and showed this year just how influential he is when he's on the field. So yeah, we felt we had to find room for him. He's played some time at number 6, number 7, and number 8, I think. But we felt, yeah, we'd put him at number 8, which pushed Hamish Mole to the open side flanker, number 7. He's certainly performed there in the past.
Yeah.
He's an exceptional fetcher, that jackal player, and as an all-round one of the elite players in our competition. Josh Galbraith on the blind side, mate, that guy did a lot of work. He's a sizable unit, can defend and hit hard, which is what we were looking for in a blindside flanker. Just one of those players that you're not going down this channel, boys.
Good line-out jumper as well.
Yeah, it gives another option.
Yeah.
So there's reasons for it. That's what our logic was. By all means, give us feedback and tell us all about how we got it so wrong.
Yeah, we got it wrong.
There was a method to our madness. And number 9, again,
yeah, well,
not a lot of discussion.
Sam's played in 3 positions, I think, all year up there at Casuarina.
So,
scrum half, fly half, and 12.
Yeah,
so
Sam Harrison was our pick at number 9. He gives you that option of frankly a 9-10. He's a not just the halfback. He gives you another kicking option, another attacking option. He's a very good defender. Perhaps to an extent, there wasn't a halfback that played halfback all year that stood out. which with his experience and his ability, we went, well, you just got to go for Sam.
Yeah, and we named him captain as well.
So number 10, with all due respects to the other 5'8", there's a player to beat in this zone, and that is, of course,
Yeah, Ben Damon.
Ben Damon from Wollongbar. He's still it as far as a number 10 in this zone goes. If anybody wants to see how to play a game and how to control a game, you watch Ben Damon. Very, very impressive player. So that was our 9 and 10. We felt we had two experienced players that can dictate the way the game is played, can play whether you're going to play attacking, running rugby or play territory. You've got some great options there with both of those. If one player's down or one player wants to go wide or one player wants to go right or left, gives you some very good options. So that was our 9 and 10, Sam and Ben. And then number 12, we're looking for a slightly different player. We felt we didn't need that kicking number 12. We wanted somebody that could get us over the advantage line, was a very good defender, so that channel got stopped. And so, therefore, we went for
the juggernaut, Daniel Damon.
Dan Damon. Again, one of those positions where there was some good performance for other players within the zone, but not consistently. And given the type of player we were looking for, Dan Damon, I mean, I think anybody would suggest, if you want the ball taken over the advantage line and into the hard work, that's Dan Damon. That's what he does.
Yep.
Also is a very good defender, but a great link player in defence, and perhaps in attack rather, perhaps goes unnoticed at times. But yeah, given the way we were making up this team, he was our team. He was our number 12. So number 13, slightly different player.
Yeah, but he can play 12. He broke a lot of tackles this year. He was very hard to stop, and that's Webb Lillis from Casuarina Beach.
Casuarina Beach, number 13, Webb Lillis. Now, I'd love to see stats on the most broken tackles this year. I thought he was incredibly impressive, and was top point scorer for the zone?
He was for the zone. Yeah.
So you've got to recognise goal kicker is there in 13. A different type of player to Dan Damon. So your midfield's got different options. He can link. He can break the tackle. He gives you great go forward as well, but also great in defence. So look, we actually, once we started talking about it and throwing up names, he just kept coming up as anybody better than him, and no, they're not. So yep, congratulations, Casuarina's on the team of the year. Then out wide, number 14.
Well, the 11.
Number 11.
Yeah, we went with a bloke that I've watched a bit in the second half of the season. Christ, he's got feet. And he can do anything. I know he plays a bit of rugby league as well. That's Hakeem Torrens from Casino.
So Casino, Hakeem Torrens, congratulations, mate. You've got our team of the year. As Wayne mentioned, you're electric player. You get the ball and you say everybody, a bit like Campbell Harvey playing for second grade for Byron Rebels. Hakeem was, if you like, the version of that in first grade. When he got the ball, everybody went, let's just going to see what happens here. He chips and chases and just he's lightning fast. Fantastic to watch. Does his defence and trailing back rolls as well, but give him a bit of space. Fantastic player to watch, and congratulations, Casino. You've got Hakeem Torrens in our team of the year.
Yeah.
So number 14.
The right wing. Yeah. You couldn't go past James Vidler from Wollongbar.
One of those things where you've got nobody has just put their hands up, if you like, and gone, I'm it. You cannot go past me. In this position, there were quite a few players from various clubs that did some very good performances but couldn't consistently nail it. James Vidler, on the other hand, when he had opportunities, perhaps as it was shown in the grand final, actually that sealed it for us. They had one ball, one opportunity that came his way, and he was in the right position, takes it, scores, grand finals wrapped up. Look, a very good player over a lot of years, brings that experience, has got size so he can break tackles when things are getting tight. James Vidler from Wollongbar, our number 14. Number 15, a few names are thrown around here as well.
Yeah.
But there was a player we haven't picked in the back line, which perhaps people are going, where's this guy playing? He's got to be in there somewhere.
So they picked the Prince. They call him the Prince out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, young Bodie Smith.
From Wollongbar.
Yeah, he was the best and fairest and the top try scorer.
Best and fairest and top try scorer in first grade. So perhaps that there alone just explains to you why we had to find a space for this player. If he wasn't in the wing, he was going to be fullback. Some very good fullbacks that didn't make it from Ballina, Wollongbar's fullback. But in the end, you've got to go with Bodie. He's been an exceptional player every game, been very, very influential in how games have been played. Grand final showed just how good he is.
Yeah, for a 20-year-old.
I mean, he's just a kid. perhaps potential 5'8" for Wollongbar in years to come.
Oh, yeah, well, he played there a couple of games this
Yes,
year
he
when
did.
Ben wasn't there. So.
I did some games where Ben Damon was subbed off because Wollongbar in front. Bodie went into 5'8", get a bit more practice there. But Bodie Smith, yeah, as Wayne mentioned, top point scorer, zone best and first grade, and our starting fullback. Congratulations. So moving on to the reserve bench, we had quite a bit of discussion about the South African version. We went for a more traditional with hooker, tight head, loose head, and those players were all from Byron Shire Rebels.
Yeah, Gavin McGonigal.
Okay.
He's come up. Good on you, Gavin.
Gavin,
Thanks.
Jordan Elliott, and Angus Wilborn, is that how we pronounce it? 3 Wollongbar players that have performed very well all year.
Byron Shire Rebels.
Byron Shire Rebels, rather, have performed very well all year. Deserved to be in this team somewhere. They are very good at their core duties of scrum and line out, but also add something in the attack and defence. Perhaps I'd suggest all that Jordan Elliott, some of the runs he's made has been fantastic to watch. Just a fantastic player, puts in a huge amount of work. So congratulations there, Byron Shire Rebels, in hooker, tight head and loose head on the reserves bench. Second row.
Yeah, the ex-Sydney Uni player.
Okay.
Jock Capel from Casuarina Beach.
Okay.
He's a very good footballer. So
Does that line out work,
yeah.
but also can do attack and defence. So, yeah, gave us some options. Okay.
Yep, we certainly did. Then you went for a loose forward on the bench there.
Yeah, went okay. Let's see how we go here. Byron Shire Rebels.
Benji Clark.
Benji Clark.
Yeah.
Was one of the players we talked about. We went to find a spot for him somewhere. He's played very well.
He certainly does.
So, yeah, congratulations there. Then we went for basically a halfback. We needed a halfback option. Even though we've got a couple of players that could fill in there, we felt we still needed one. So, again, Byron Shire Rebels, I mean, no surprise. They were minor premiers and made the grand final.
Otis Floyd.
Yep, congratulations.
Yeah.
Played very well, but as we mentioned, Sam Harrison, with that experience and ability he's got our starting role, but we felt Otis deserved a spot.
Yeah.
So we found a halfback reserve spot for him. And then we went for what we call 2 utility players that could cover several options for us. Of course, with the starting team we've got, 9, 10, 15 can all play 5'8", could also all play halfback if we needed to, if for some reason we needed that. So we needed some other options. And so we came up with?
Yeah, Kai George from Casuarina Beach.
Yeah.
He's a good young fella. I've had him in the rep side for Colts a few years ago with Webb Lillis and everyone. So he's very good. And our last player there, the 23rd player, we had to go with Joel Little from Byron Shire Rebels. So.
And he's been starting 5'8", but he can also cover 9, 12, 13. Gave us several options there. So congratulations.
And can kick goals as well.
And, yeah, goal kicking in this team. There's a few people that can do that. So congratulations. That's our 1 to 23. Now, Coach of the Year. We had quite a bit of discussion about this. Obviously, you've got 2 teams in the grand final that you'd suggest, okay, they need to be team Coach of the Year. But we looked at more than that, just how teams had performed throughout the year, how they went versus perhaps what the expectation was for that team. And we came up with a different option. We felt that the team outperformed any expectation on their day. When they actually got it right, they were fantastic to watch and very hard to play against. So our Coach of the Year was
DJM.
Doug Murray from Casino Rugby Club.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Casino. You've got the Coach of the Year. We felt that starting of the year, Casino would be very happy to be competitive. As it turned out, Casino made the top 4 for the first time in a lot of years. A lot of work has gone in by a lot of people, but kudos, Doug Murray, Coach of the Year. Congratulations. Team Manager of the Year. We're looking for different things there. A manager that communicate with Far North Coast Rugby, gets in their team lists, on the day has shit organised, with all due respect to some of them, and in all grades. This person does a fantastic job every week. And when we went through the sort of criteria we're looking at, his name stood out, to be honest.
Never rang him once for the team.
Okay.
He was always there.
Things, but it makes a difference.
Was always there Thursday night, straight after training.
You're going, okay, well, who's in your team this week? On the day, right? When's team going to be warming up? All those sorts of things. We took that into account. Easy to deal with for match officials. So our team manager was
Anthony Drew from Wollongbar.
Yeah, congratulations. You often say that what happens on a field is indicative of what's happening off the field. Wollongbar Alstonville, very impressive club, and in first grade, a very impressive manager. Congratulations. So physio, we were looking at somebody that not only has done the job for their club, but has been approachable for any club or anybody in any club that's needed something during the year, has been easy to deal with for both their players and their teams, but also opposition clubs and opposition players, match officials. At times, these people have a very, very difficult job. They're caught between a rock and a hard place, and players wanting to stay on the field, but they need to do their job and have the players' safety being the paramount importance. So we settled on a person that we think has done a fantastic job in very difficult positions, particularly given the nature of this club and how it's come about. So our physio of the year went to
Emily Hunter from the Byron Shire Rebels.
So a new club, a new position therefore in that club. Emily has been the physio of the year for both first and second grade, so multitasking. Did a fantastic job, was easy to deal with for everybody, as I said, and feedback. I actually spoke to players from lots of the clubs and lots of the grades about how they felt their physios was going and things they could have done better or worse. And Byron Shire Rebels were just unanimous that this person has done a fantastic job for us. Talking to other clubs, when you said, well, will you nominate anybody else? Almost to a person, they said Emily. So congratulations, Emily Hunter. You deserve a mention in this team of the year. You did a fantastic job. We're easy to deal with. I know personally, I always found it easy to deal with you when we needed things like blue cards or injuries and assessment. You were approachable. You did your job professionally. So congratulations. So that's our 1 to 23 team of the year, our coach, manager and physio. As we mentioned earlier, this is Wayne Mullane and Graham Cook. We've got no idea because we're a match official and a zone administrator. So we'd really love some feedback on this. We tried to talk to a lot of people, got some feedback. This is what we came up. I'm sure we can come up with a lot of other names, but that was our zone of the year.
Yeah, well, we're tossing up Jathan Von Bratt from Lismore as a tight head as well. You know, maybe on the bench, but yeah, he performed very well in that team this year. So yeah, so anyway, that's just how it goes. It's nothing to set in concrete. It's just something that we thought.
So indication for perhaps zone coach next year.
Yeah.
So is that enough for us today, Mark Goff, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Wayne Mullane, would you like to wrap this up? It's been a pleasure as usual.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great. Hopefully you've liked this podcast thing that we've been doing over the second half of this competition. We didn't start straight from it, but we've found it a little bit hard to do with it on the time, but...
Look, hopefully there's been some benefit come out of this. I've mentioned on several occasions that I've had people from clubs, whether players or supporters, talk to me at ground. So obviously people are watching this. Congratulations to all teams on their grand final wins. Thank you very much to Far North Coast Rugby for yet another fantastic competition. So this is the Far North Coast Rugby podcast. Congratulations to everybody. We'll see you again next time.